Hello and welcome to Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty, and on today's episode, we are going to talk to all of you. We're diving into the comments and addressing some concerns people have around Indianapolis and some of the suburbs. Some people have some pretty strong things to say, and we're going to get into all of it. But before we do that, leave a like on this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around Indianapolis, the Circle City that we love and call home. Now with that, let's take a dive into this morass of negativity. All right, we get a lot of comments on this channel, and honestly, I would love a lot more, because my favorite thing is this dialogue and conversation where we're talking about Indianapolis, Indiana, all of it together. And so I wanted to dive into some of the more out there comments, some of the honestly more negative comments in a lot of cases, and really touch base with them, address some concerns, and just talk about this area. So let's dive into some of the negativity. All right, first from our Brownsburg video, Abinu8404 says, "It's old people and a high school and big box stores." All right. Come on. There's more to do in Brownsburg. You got to check out the Brownsburg content because there's a lot to do. Brownsburg is a great area for nature, for parks, for getting out, in the wilds. Is there as much to do in Brownsburg as like downtown Indianapolis or maybe downtown Carmel? No, it's not that kind of suburb, and that's okay because there are different flavors depending on where you want to live. There's lots of cool stuff to do in Brownsburg. You got to get out and about. All right, next up about Indiana. Don't knock it till you try it. Been to Indiana corn is all right. Kentucky's still on top. Hey, this person's talking about Kentucky. They're wrong. Indiana corn is the best. Next up, Illinois corn is supreme. What are these people talking about? We've got a corn war on this channel. Absolutely not. Illinois corn is not supreme. Thanks for your input, but it's Indiana corn. We all know it. After visiting Indiana once, I can't believe people actually choose to live there. What, Nunya953, what are you talking about? You got to check out our Indianapolis Things to Do videos or any of the other ones for any of the suburbs. There's tons to do here. Not only that, check out why you should move to Indianapolis or what I love about Indianapolis. I am overflowing with love for this area, a Hoosier at heart, whether it's the polite people or the well-developed neighborhoods, the affordable cost of living compared to other areas, the easy access to nature in and around the city. What wouldn't you like about Indiana? We've got arts, culture, sports, anything you can name that you could possibly want, unless you want mountains or deserts or swamps or geographical things we can't provide here. But there's, lots of really great nature. So I don't know what to tell you. You've only visited once. Come back and visit us again. Definitely come for an event in Indianapolis. You'll see how alive this city gets during events. Come to WrestleMania or the next time we have the Final Four. It's really cool here. All right, this one was near and dear to my heart. I was accused by Matthew Johnston 7071 of never seeing a zombie movie. This is not true. In fact, I've seen a lot of zombie movies. Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, The Walking Dead, all the Deads. Warm Bodies, 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. I've not seen 28 Years Later. Let me get on that. Zombieland, World War Z, Planet Terror, I Am Legend. I don't even know. I'm probably forgetting a bunch. I've seen zombie movies. So, this comes from the video where I talked about where could you go in a zombie apocalypse in Indiana, in Indianapolis specifically. There's tons of great places. So if you're worried about the zombies, come to Indiana. It's a great place to live. Let's eat some corn. All right. Congested highways and city streets. Gridlock stinks. Multitude of roundabouts like a figure-8 race with daredevils amongst you. All right. I live near a lot of roundabouts. Hamilton County is littered with roundabouts. Carmel is the roundabout capital of probably the world, but definitely of the United States. It has more than double, I think, of the next most one. Fishers is coming along too with how many roundabouts there are. Roundabouts are easy to navigate. There are occasionally accidents there, but most of the time people are very respectful with how they drive there. At least that's been my experience, and I drive in them every single day. So if someone else has a different experience, let me know. Give me a story in the comments. Congested highways, sometimes. Depends on the time of day, the area of the city, and if there's construction. Where I will give this comment credit is if you are driving through a construction area, especially, after that unfreeze from the winter, and they're building up 65 or 465 or 70, as they're wont to do around Indianapolis. Yes, I agree with you. Construction can lead to really terrible traffic jams. And that's a shame. That's not always the case, though, and it depends on your route to work. So if you want a better commute, let's talk about moving. Hit me up below. The real locals weren't really too fond of it. That's blah blah 8471. They're talking about the Indianapolis 500. I have no idea what they're talking about because I don't think I've ever met someone who doesn't like the Indianapolis 500. I mean, I guess if you lived close to the track, but you didn't like racing for some reason, in which case I would not recommend living close to the track in West Indy or Speedway, because that would bring a lot of headache that comes with the racing. And if you don't like the racing, then that could be problematic. But no, it's a really fun event. We have people come from all over the world to the Indianapolis 500, and a lot of local people have really regretted because until like this year, I think it's been blacked out on TV. So it's like you have to go, or if you want to see it, and it's fun to see because it's great racing, the greatest spectacle in racing, some would say. And no, people fly their flags all over the place. It's May in Indiana, and what are the colors you're going to see? Black and white everywhere. Everyone's got their checkered flags flying. Communities have checkered flags. Individual homes put out their speedway flags. Like, that's what you're going to see. It's super popular here. So this is just wrong. Yeah, this one's talking about our mayor. His name's Hogset. They're calling him Hogwash and Hog other names. That's not very nice. I don't know all of the mayor's policies, so I don't even want to comment on it. But hey, I will say, just in general, Indianapolis has been doing very well economically over the past, couple decades. So regardless of who our mayor has been and not been, Indiana has been a city on the come up. So I can't speak to Mayor Hogset's policies at all. I don't know enough about it. I don't get involved in local politics. But that one cracked me up. All right. The West Indy burbs seem a lot more modest and laid back than any of the big 5 North Indy burbs. The North Indy burbs seem like they're trying too hard to be like Chicago suburbs, which is where I moved from and absolutely despise. This was from Chief 8079. So I see what they're saying here, because there are different vibes on the west, the north, the east, and south across Indianapolis. I don't think I would agree so much that North Indy feels like they're trying to be, like the Chicago suburbs. I lived in the Chicago suburbs for a couple years, and I think they're a noticeably different vibe than like Carmel and Fishers. I think the general thought here is probably that the north side Indy burbs are trying to be like, I don't know, maybe a little fancier, like because you see kind of the arts district in Carmel. You see, the theater and symphony in Carmel, and so you have some of that where you have. But I mean, they even have that in the west side. Plainfield's got Performing Arts Center now as well. Maybe it's the roundabouts. Maybe they don't like the roundabouts. But yeah, I would say they're a little bit smaller. Tend to be on the west side, so maybe that's the different vibe that they're feeling. The north side burbs, Carmel and Fishers, 2 of the biggest cities in the state at this point, both over 100,000 people. Noblesville, north of 70,000. Westfield, north of 50,000, fastest growing city in the state. So that is definitely something under consideration. Zionsville, very expensive. So, but in terms of like the nature, there's nice nature in Zionsville. There's nice nature in Brownsburg. One's on the north, one's on the west. They're both kind of in the northwest. Avon, Plainfield. Yeah, I mean, I see what they're saying. They're a different vibe, but they're all really nice in their own way. So it depends on what you're looking for. I like Plainfield. I like Avon. I like Brownsburg, Zionsville, all the Hamilton County ones. Hey, I think they're all great. All right, this one's talking about our McCordsville, one of our McCordsville new build walkthroughs, and only for the low price of $1.3 million. Hey, Indianapolis. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Indianapolis is one of the most affordable big cities in the entire country, and in general, Indiana and Indianapolis cost of living compares favorably with pretty much anywhere in the entire country. So if you think new builds are expensive here, you need to look at other markets and compare. New builds, it depends on what you're building, right? You know, in that particular video, we looked at sort of the Geist area of McCordsville and one of the bigger models there. So yeah, it's, you know, there's naturally a bigger house in that particular community. It starts in like the 450s, 470s for new builds. That's not the case with everywhere around Indianapolis, but McCordsville is just south of Fishers, and a lot of people are moving there. So there's a high demand for that type of housing. Same thing in Westfield. You see a lot of new builds, you know, 450, 5, 6. That it depends on the demand in the area. Franklin Township has new builds that are a little bit sort of more affordable than these areas. You have some that are further out, you know, in the areas around Greenwood. You do have some on the west side still as well. So it depends on where you're looking and what type of community, what type of model you want. There's different price points. But yes, housing prices in general nationwide have gone up. And that's just an economic reality of the market right now. But the good news is there's lots of creative lending programs. There's lots of great existing construction options. And depending on your new build, depending on the model you select, the builder, etc., the community, there's different price options as well. This was the feedback from Papa Yoff. And he said, or she said, I don't know. Papa Yoff, if you're out there, give us another comment. Because I wanted to respond to this one. Complaining about how a place called Plainfield is kind of plain is a piece of work. Okay, they got me there. I should have used another word. And you know, actually, we had another great comment on that same video where someone was talking about the history of the architecture of downtown Plainfield, and that was awesome. It was great to see another perspective on it. You know, my comment in general is, a lot of the housing options in Plainfield feel kind of similar to me, and there are a lot of, you know, more commercial areas within Plainfield. You know, being that is near the airport, near the interstate, you have like, you know, fulfillment centers. You have a lot of chain areas within Plainfield as well, and the geography is just not like as varied as some of the other areas around Indianapolis. That's what I mean by plain. I love Plainfield. I think it's an amazing community. Really great place to live. There's a ton of pros in its favor. Check out our pros and cons video, actually, if you want to really get deep into Plainfield. But yeah, I mean, I think the surrounding area can be a little plain, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. Atlas Car Spot says, I honestly don't like living in Westfield. The schools are I'm not going to say that word, especially the intermediate, and it's just constant construction. Well, just in terms of statistics, Westfield actually has some of the highest rated schools in the state. You know, I can't speak, I didn't go to school in Westfield. I went to school in Brazil, Indiana at Northview. Shout out Knights. But just in terms of the stats, I wouldn't say that that's accurate. And, you know, you look at niche.com, check out the public high school rankings in Indiana. The Hamilton County schools in general tend to do very well on that list, and Westfield is no exception there. In terms of the construction, yeah, they're right there. There is a lot of construction in Westfield right now, but that's because it's booming. There's a ton of opportunity. New downtown project going in Westfield, everything from new apartments to new housing, you know, just new businesses. I mean, really, there's everything. It's all popping right now in Westfield. So they're right. There is a lot of construction in Westfield, but that's not a bad thing because it talks about the opportunity of the area. All right. So what do you think? Not too bad, right? You know, we've had a lot of really positive comments on this channel as well, and I love to hear from you. So if there's anything that you could think of about Indianapolis, any of the suburbs, whether it's an opinion, a thought, something you hate about what I said, something you love about what I said, I want to hear from you. So you can leave an email, send me a text, leave a comment, whatever works for you. And if you're moving to the area, let me know. I want to help you. Even if you're just kind of planning off in the future, that's okay. Let's get a game plan in place. All the contact info is below, but I want to do these on a regular basis. So the more comments we get in, the better conversation we can have. So whether it's looking at the negative comments or really praising the positive comments, I try to respond, whether it's in the video or in the comments themselves. Be on the lookout for it because, hey, it's a community and we're all in this together. So if you like this, leave a like on this video, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around Indianapolis the Circle City that we love and call home. And we know you're going to love too, if you don't already. Not everyone in these comments loved it, but hey, they watch long enough, they're going to love it too. So with that, I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty. This is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we'll see you in the next one.